right, jabronis, we're back. Hope everybody had a good week. I did. Hectic week. A lot of shit going on at work. New positions being taken over. People leaving. More work gets piled onto the plates of the people that are still there. So busy at work. Also, continuously busy with family. By the time you're listening to this, the Libretti family, the Libretti Podcast Diary Show family will have gone to what some might say a top 10 American concert experience of all time. And that's going to be, that's William Joel. My parents, Crazy Carol, I think I mentioned this a long time ago, for Christmas got us all tickets to go see Billy Joel in Madison Square Garden this past week. And then we saw him. And I'm recording this before, but I can assure you it was a great time. We had a great time. And I'll probably talk about it some other time in the future when I actually go. But I'm trying to predict the future here, and I predict we will have a good time in the city watching Billy Joel with the family, and then seeing all the Rat Kings taking over the subways and the underground of New York City. Not the New York City, of New York City. That's it. So, very exciting for that. Very excited for that. I am butchering words today. I don't know why. I guess because it's been a long day. Kind of got some crappy weather going on right now. It's about to start thunderstorming. So, couple that with a long day of work. A lot of crap going on around the LPDS compound, which I'll get into later on. So maybe my brain is a little scrambled, a little mush today. So bear with me here. We're going to try to get through it. I will say this, though. Before we kind of step, if you will, I do want to provide a little bit of an update to the tomatoes, the tomato plants. Now, nothing bad has currently happened to the plants. I was actually away for a week, and the plants survived. I had to tie them down a little bit when I got back because they grew, obviously, and they started, keeling over a bit because they're too big. So I had to tie them to some stakes to keep them growing up and growing strong. But it occurred to me that there is potential now, higher potential that was not previously known, I guess you can say. I didn't calculate it into my contingency planning for, how to succeed with tomatoes, but it became a factor now, and there's potential for future tragedy with the tomatoes. I'm trying to think of how else to say that. That's it, potential future tragedy. Here's the thing. I am moving. By the end of July, the LPDS compound will be packed up and out of here. The studio, the housing, the lodging, Randy's dungeon, it's all going to be gone. And we're going to be moving onward and upward to somewhere else. Still don't know where yet. No idea where. So stay tuned for that. But this affects the tomatoes now. End of July is not a lot of time for these tomato plants to mature, grow, and cultivate tomatoes. Originally, I was expecting a full summer into an early fall of tomato cultivation to maximize potential harvest. And it looks like that's going to be cut short, and there is now higher potential for tomato tragedy. So we could see 2 years in a row of tomato tragedy. But if we learn nothing else from this show, this circus act, is that this is not going to be a failure. This is going to be a learning moment. We're not going to get down and out. We just adapt or die. Okay, we're not going to let this potential debilitating issue cripple us permanently. okay? We're going to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow, and that's exactly what we're going to do, unlike the tomato plants, potentially. So stay tuned for that. It was a little unsettling to think about that being an option now, being a potential. But again, you prepare for the worst, hope for the best. You maintain that positive attitude and that undying will to succeed and grow and learn and have good times. So that's the update. That's that. With that, we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Ken Jr.'s Performance Improving Supplements. Are you tired of working tirelessly to get better at anything and looking for that edge to get you over that final hump to success? Well, look no further than Ken Jr.'s Piss Pills. See, Ken Jr.'s pills initiate a controversial chemical reaction in the mind and body to allow for quicker recovery, better life gains, and guaranteed victory in anything you do. So to cycle on Ken Jr.'s today, visit www.thekid.com, and if you use the promo code CLEAN, you'll get 1 free vat of fresh urine to pass any urinalysis you might come across. So there you go. It's hard out there, guys and gals, and Transmorphs, whoever else is out there listening, I welcome you all. It's tough out there. No matter what you're doing, whether you're trying to accomplish an internal goal, you're playing a sport, you're competing in a sport, you're trying to do better in anything in life. It's tough out there, and to find a way to get that edge, whatever the edge may be, whether it's learning a new skill, finding a way to recover faster, getting stronger, faster, smarter, more agile. You want to explore them. That's what, if there's any chance, any opportunity to gain that edge, it makes sense you want to explore that opportunity. And now, Ken Jr. is one of the best to ever do it successfully and get away with it. So go to thekid.com and let me know what you think. All right, Cage Fact. As we all know, we discussed this previously, there were talks of a new Face-Off, Face-Off 2. This was from last year sometime. We were talking about it. And the writers have come out recently and confirmed that they are almost done with the screenplay, with the script for Face-Off 2, and they are confirming now that it is a full-on sequel. They have said that it is a full-on sequel. It is not a prequel. It's not some offshoot side story. It is a sequel to the original great film. That being said, they also mention that they are in desperate need. Desperate is the word they use, not me. I can't think of big words like that on my own. The writers use desperate need to have Nic Cage reprise his role as Castor Troy from the original great Face-Off. No information was mentioned, or no intel was mentioned by the writers on how they propose to do that, both by getting him to sign on for the role and also writing it into the script on how he reprises it. Because if you know from the original, and this is, we could call it a spoiler alert, the original's been out for almost 30 years. Nic Cage's character died in the movie. Okay? Now, thinking about the movie itself, and what is the term I'm thinking of? Not flexibility. Damn it. It's like flexibility of reality, not suspension of disbelief, but it's sort of like how loosey-goosey they were, essentially, with the original. That's what I'm kind of getting at here. It's not a far-fetched, thing to think about or to consider that they'll find a way to write in how he comes back to life or how he never really died. So they're going to figure that out. They're the creative geniuses here. They're going to figure that out, hopefully, and then they got to get him to sign on and want to be in the movie. That's the next big step, because without it, guess who's not going to see it? It might as well be another Top Gun movie, because I'm not paying for that. So, all right, that's the Cage fact. There you go. You're welcome. Moving on over to the Junction, spinning the logo up. Should be a quick one, but this is really more of just a bitch session, and I'm going to try to kind of hold back the emotions and find some lessons and some growth in it all, and hopefully you guys can too. So it's really more, if you go back to, I'm trying to think how many times I bitched about poor customer service. There was a 2-parter I did on Lowe's on how garbage they were, and that saga that ended in victory, by the way, which is part of the this lesson in this one. But customer service continues to be absolutely dog shit in the modern day, in the 21st century, 2022. It has not. There's no signs of it getting better. For whatever reason, nobody in the customer service industry has listened to anything I've said here on this show ever, really. And nothing gets better. Nothing has improved one bit, one iota. And you think with all the lessons we learn here, they would take one of them to step back and be introspective, critically analyze things, try to understand what the hell the point of your organization is and your job as a customer service representative. But none of that. It continues to continue to go downhill. And I think the reason is part of the lesson here, and I'll get into that in a little bit here. But basically, to give you guys a rundown of what's been going on lately, two things have been going on with me and the LPDS universe. One, and I don't remember if I mentioned this previously. I thought maybe I did after my sister and her family came to visit, but basically my air conditioning is still broken. Okay, it's been now over 3 weeks, going on a month in the summer of a broken AC. That's air conditioner, that's HVAC. That gives you the cool air, the first world convenience we have in the summertime indoors to keep us cool and convened. Convene's not the right word. You know what I mean. And mine's still broken. Now, it's not the landlord's fault. I've been working with my landlord on this. We've been tag teaming this effort here to get the AC fixed already. But it's a combination of the warranty company just not really caring, and the HVAC company that they hired to do the job really being lazy and incompetent and unwilling to actually do their job. And I'll get into that right now. Okay, so let's rewind the tape a little bit to 3-ish weeks ago. And I don't remember if I discussed this, but if I did and you're hearing it for the second time, I apologize. But that's what I do here. I ramble. I inadvertently repeat things. Sometimes I purposely repeat things to get into the muscle memory. This one is going to be inadvertent if I repeated it. So 3 weeks ago, I get the standard annual checkup of the HVAC for the summertime so they can go check and clean it out and make sure everything is good to go. And they identify that there is a leak in the coolant. Somewhere in the system, the coolant's leaking, and it's just blowing air from the outside in. It's not cool or anything like that. So I go, naturally, okay, can you go identify where the leak is coming from and then repair it? That's what you're here for, to do HVAC things, and we'll take care of it. That'll be done. And he's like, I can't do that. So I politely ask him, why can't he do that? And he says, that's not what I was hired to do today. The warranty company said this was a checkup ticket and not an incident response ticket or a repair ticket. So I am not allowed to, under the rules of the warranty, do anything else but check up on the system and give it the annual how you doing. So again, to illuminate to this individual the stupidity of the whole process, and not with him particularly or his company, but just the whole process, I asked him, I said, hey, are you an HVAC guy? He's like, yep. I said, do I have an HVAC problem? He goes, also, yep. So I say, I guess I ask him, and this is rhetorical because I'm kind of being a dickhead, not to him, but just in general, to, again, illuminate the stupidity of the situation. I said, as an HVAC guy, and a guy here with an HVAC problem, if I paid you money to do HVAC things, you're supposed to do it. That's what you do. You get money for HVAC things. You do HVAC things. Everybody's happy. And he's like, yeah. I go, okay, I got money. Go do HVAC things and fix my leak and repair and replenish the coolant. He goes, I can't do that. I said, do you understand my problem here with all of this? And he goes, completely agree. And we talked through it, and I understand that he couldn't, if he did it, his company would be penalized, and they would suffer some sort of financial penalty or situation through the warranty contract that they signed. So I understand that. But the initial idea of it all is like, hey, it's 80 degrees in my house. I got family coming. They're already here, actually. They were out in the park at the time. And the fact that we have all the components to solve a problem right there in front of our fat, stupid noses, and yet we still couldn't do it. Very frustrating, a little bit mind-boggling, but again, I made it work for the weekend. My family visited. We still had a good time, and I called the warranty company to adjust fires, again, adapt or die, to get a guy out here under the repair ticket umbrella, so that they can actually repair and do something about it instead of just look at the problem and admire it. So they call a different company. Again, this is through the home warranty and not through the HVAC specific company. So they hire another company, another HVAC, to come out or to schedule an appointment, and they schedule it for the time that I'm supposed to get back from my trip to Houston in Texas. So we schedule it for 8 a.m. Monday morning, first thing. And I talk to him on the phone, and he confirms. Okay, and then I get an email confirming both from the HVAC company and the warranty company. You're all set for 6 June at 8 a.m., first thing in the morning. Okay, and I continue to get text messages. This is just a reminder, confirming your appointment for 8 a.m. on 6 June. Got it. Every day last week, I keep getting the update. Confirm. Awesome. It was great. Over-communication is never a problem in my world. Well, then Sunday comes, and I get a text message that says, just confirming your appointment with this HVAC company to come on 6 June between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. So I do a quick double take, make sure I'm not, hallucinating, and I see that, and I was like, all right, well, it's time to call and figure this out, because that's a problem. People work, okay? I'm in the military. I don't do anything of importance in the military, but I am in the military all the same, and I am beholden to their rules and guidelines that you can't just decide less than 24 hours in advance that you're not going to be at work during a certain time that you're supposed to be at work. You can't just do that, okay? And I imagine in most adult-run, maturely run businesses, you probably can't do that either unless you have some sort of agreement with your leadership that, like, hey, if emergencies happen, I completely understand, you can leave. But under Uncle Sam's rule, this did not count. This did not meet the threshold of an emergency in the military, so they would have shot that down. So I had to call him up, and I called up the dude, and I was like, hey, remember me? He's like, yep. I was like, we talked, and you confirmed 8 a.m. And he goes, well, I can't do 8 a.m. because of where our company is physically located and where you're located, there's no way that I can get a guy up there at that time in the morning based on the other tickets that we have scheduled to go and undertake that day. So I was like, listen, you confirmed you had all week to do this. So tell me what the problem is. He's like, all right, listen, I'll call you in the morning. I'll try to come out there myself personally. This is like the supervisor or whatever. He was not usually the guy going out and doing the do, apparently. And he's like, we'll see what we can do. I was like, all right. He goes, first thing in the morning, I'll call you. And this is after we had an adult conversation about why they would schedule me first thing in the morning and confirm all week and then realize right before in the last minute that it wasn't going to work, that I shouldn't have to suffer for that. And he kind of understood that initially. So first thing in the morning comes around, okay? I call the guy, nothing. Call again, nothing. Call a third or fourth time, and I get a text message back. This is now we're talking 8:30 in the morning, 9 a.m. We'll call you shortly. He calls me back 5 or 10 minutes later, clearly groggy, clearly disheveled, clearly out of sorts, and getting his wits about him. Now, if you do a little investigative analysis or research or whatever you want to call it, any mouth-breathing moron with a heartbeat and a brain could have figured out that this guy was just sleeping in. And he decided to sling some bullshit excuse at me why they couldn't make it work, why the business is not going to be able to make it work because of the way the schedule was written, and not because this lazy bastard, A, didn't prepare appropriately ahead of time by coordinating the schedule appropriately when he had over a week to do it, and B, by deciding to sleep because he didn't want to wake up early and have to drive far out in the morning to actually do what he said he was going to do. So now I'm sitting there with my dick in my hand. It's 80 degrees inside. Randy's dick is in his paw. We're sweating our asses off with no AC. And this guy cannot figure out why I'm so pissed off. Now, I didn't get to quite yelling at him like I did with the Lowe's team after that debacle, that 3, 4, 5 month debacle. But I let him know the situation. Again, I illuminated to this individual the concept of customer service and what they are offering and how that process works. You don't offer a service in exchange for money and then not do that service. How do you expect to succeed in that business model if you don't deliver the goods? And he kept talking around with the excuses of the schedule. And I said, listen, I understand, logistically speaking, it is a pain in the ass to have to drive an hour to come up here and service, take care of this service request, this repair request, when the rest of your appointments for the day are in a completely different location. In the opposite direction. I understand that. It is a pain in the ass. However, guy, I did not set this appointment up. Okay? I gave it to the warranty company who you signed an agreement with to work with that they can contract out to you. And they provided the time to which you agreed to a week in advance. Now, once you agree to something like that, once you sign that agreement to provide that customer service to that customer and you're getting paid to do so, it is not on the customer to inconvenience themselves any further to get this shit done. It is on you to make it happen. So if you have to wake up earlier than normal and drive a little extra on one day, that's the breaks, fella. That's how it's supposed to be. That's customer service. You signed on, you made an agreement, you got to hold up your end of the bargain. That's what's called being an adult. That's what's called being a man if you're a man, and a woman if you're a woman, and a morph if you're a morph. You don't agree to something and then bail on it last minute with no excuse. That's not what adults do. That's not what professionals should be doing. So now I had to reschedule. My landlord's heated. He's given the warranty company a piece of their mind and the HVAC company. And we're going to try this again. Next Monday, well, by the time you listen to this, honestly, we're gonna have an update. So I'll provide an update via Instagram and Facebook. I'll just give a post or a story update to see. They're supposed to be coming the next week to do the repair. 8 a.m. And they agreed to it. And I confirm that it's in writing once again. 8 a.m. on Monday. Same company. Let's see what happens. We will see what happens then. And I'll provide you updates. Again, by the time this comes out, the update will be here. Or the update will not be here. Either way, you will know whether I have AC or not. Trust me. You will know, and they will know if I don't. All right, second story. The hits just keep on happening here. Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of hits that keep on happening, remind me to talk about some of the news updates. Forget it. I'll talk about it next week. I'll have a little tinfoil hat show. But remind me, while I think about it, I have to mention this because I just thought about it now. There are Epstein updates. I think there's some other tomfoolery going on with news and politics and stuff, if I remember correctly, that needs to be addressed in an appropriate manner, which is this venue right here. So I'll get to that next week. I think I'm going to try to do like a conspiracy tinfoil hat episode of some funny, goofy shit. If you don't see an announcement for that, hit me upside the head, hit the hotline, and let me know that we're going to be talking about tinfoil hat stuff very soon here in the next couple weeks. So anyway, second thing that went on this past week in the customer service realm. As you all know, I flew to Florida to road trip to Texas with the creature to help him move and set up a new life for himself out there in the Wild West. And then I was set to fly back from Texas up to New Jersey to grab the dog from my parents and then drive home Saturday evening to come back and take care of my affairs here at the LPDS compound and get ready for a work week. Well, it didn't exactly go like that. Friday morning, the creature was nice enough to escort me to the airport. Uber, if you will. Taxi. Yeah, I guess it's like an escort, but not like a male escort, just a regular no-sex escort, which is what was preferred. And we're driving to the airport. We get about 5-10 minutes away, and I get a text message that the flight's been canceled. This is United, by the way. I have no problem mentioning them. This United canceled text message. I look up the information, and it says there was a maintenance issue with the aircraft, and it's no longer even going to come to Texas anymore, so we had to cancel the flight. We have no other replacement aircraft, and this issue is not going to get resolved in the next day. Now, I wasn't too mad about that because I don't want to fly on a plane that has a maintenance issue. Okay? I got a lot of life to live. I'm not trying to die on a plane just because 300 fat, aggressive, entitled Americans needed to get home ASAP to go do whatever. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a canceled flight. So I had to go through the United app to figure out a new flight situation. Now, United does a very good job of making sure they only offer United-only flights that are convenient to them and not to actually do what they offered up in their customer service. Now, let's go real quick over. We'll go over really quick the business model of pretty much any airline company. United for this case, but in general. They are offering to do their best job of getting you from point A to point B. Point A and point B are decided by you. And again, to succeed as a business, they want to do that in the best way possible. That means providing you the best flight, the most convenient, comfortable, enjoyable flight. So that's, maybe offering snacks, movie options, bigger planes, more comfortable seats, what have you. And offer you the most flight options to get you there at the time that you need to get there. And then you agree to pay them for them to do that for you, provide you that service. The service they're offering is flight relocation, flight transportation from point A to point B at a time that you prefer. So, I paid for a flight on a Friday to go from Houston to New Jersey, and that's what they agreed to. Now, the flights that they offered to get back to New Jersey were not on a Friday. They were the next day or the day after. They said they had no available flights Friday at all to offer me. Now, I did a quick digging on the United website for general flights on Friday, leaving any of the airports in Houston to New Jersey. And I found at least 3 or 4 United-specific flights that I could have taken that were not full at the time when I was looking to get these flights. Here's the reason why they didn't offer them. Because the tickets for those flights on that day were now more expensive than what I paid originally for my flight. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, you paid a certain amount, so unless you're going to pay more, you're not going to get those more expensive flights. And normally I would agree to that. Just like first class. I don't expect a first class seat if I didn't pay first class price. Got it. My issue with this all was that the flights that I paid for at the times that I paid for were canceled. And now United still has an obligation to get me from point A to point B in the time that I paid for. So now it is on them, in my opinion, that they offer, again, as a business model looking for success and in customer service, you would think they would offer all flight options for that day to ensure that I get what I originally paid for. Now, you may disagree with that. You may say, hey, too bad, so sad. You paid for a morning flight. They only had night flights. Night flights are more money. Suck a brick, kid. And I get that. You're entitled to your opinion just like I'm entitled to mine, and I'm not going to hate on you for it. But, again, going back, if we're digging into the semantics of it all, I paid for morning. They canceled morning. They offered next day. Whatever. I could have very easily have argued this to the death to get that Friday flight, but they had some amenable Saturday flights, so I was fine. Let's go Saturday. I picked a Saturday with a 2-hour layover in Nashville and then back up to New Jersey. So left Saturday morning, get to Nashville, sit there for 2 hours, 2 full hours. In fact, I was able to create like a full video promo and edit for an upcoming, like the episode that I did with the creature. I checked my email. I got food. I was able to do a whole lot of stuff in that 2-hour time span. And I'll tell you why this is important in a little bit here, okay? I get on the flight. Fly to Newark. Get to Newark, baggage claim. Okay? Bags are coming out. People are grabbing bags. Continue to come out. People grabbing. Next thing you know, I am the only one at the baggage claim. At the turnstiles. What's it called? Carousels. And there's no LPDS bag. I wait another 5-10 minutes. Sometimes it's delayed, got it, nothing. All right. I go over to the bag claim ticket counter, how you doing, whatever they call it. The bitch and moan facility where people complain about shit regarding United Airlines baggage service. So that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I went there. Talked to the lady. Hey, lady. I didn't call her lady. But hey, ma'am, my bag's not here. Here is my ticket information. Here is my name. Here is my birth certificate. Here's my blood type. Whatever you need. This is all the information on me and my travel situation. I would like my bag, please. Can you identify where my bag is? She goes, yeah, aren't you she goes, weren't you stopping in Nashville? I was like, yep. She goes, well, but this is Newark. So as nice as I could be, I said, yeah, I am well aware of where I am right now, ma'am. If you look at my ticket information, I am exactly where I am supposed to be. My bag, however, is not. She's like, yeah, well, looks like they dropped it off in Nashville and then didn't get it on the plane in time to Newark. And I said, what do you mean in time? I said, they got everybody else's bag on time. She's like, I can't help you. What I could do, and she was nice, and I wasn't mad at her. Again, well, I want to caveat all this. I bitch and moan on this show a lot of the time, but when I'm talking to these individuals, this lady isn't in charge of United Airlines and the customer service. She's only one woman in one shop who does have a bit of an obligation as her job to be as polite and helpful as possible and professional, and she was. However, the nature of her job and her capability, she just was not able to help at all. Okay? She did her best, and she just wasn't able to do much. And that's not so much her fault. It's the job. It's her parents' fault. It's whatever. So I wasn't mad at her, and I repeated that to her, that it wasn't her. She was trying her best and doing what she could, and she was very nice about it too. So she put in this claim to get my bag back from Nashville. Now, here's the, before I drag this on any longer, the issue is I got my bag, okay? I got it Sunday morning. The lady was able to get the bag on a morning flight from Nashville and Newark. So I got my bag. And I wasn't mad about the fact that I had to wait an extra day. It did throw my entire trip off because I was supposed to be home in the compound on Saturday so I can go and clean the house and do grocery shopping and prepare for the AC repair, but it didn't happen that way. Whatever. Life goes on. I can only control the controllables. What was illuminating to me and what I wanted to highlight here is that due to constant individual incompetence or inability to do what they're getting paid to do, somebody else's life was inconvenienced. And it wasn't just me. It was my parents. My Sausage and Peppers was supposed to have a big-time family picnic that I could no longer attend because I missed it because of the flight cancellation. I wasn't able to take care of my dog appropriately. My parents had to sit and take care of my dog another day, so that was more inconvenience for them. I lost a day of travel and what have yous. These are all, by the way, first world inconveniences. I understand that is really, in the grand scheme of things, no big deal. Got it. But what I'm trying to highlight is one simple laziness, lazy effort, or lack of effort, if you will, has a domino effect. There are second and third order effects to people not doing what they say they're going to do or what they're getting paid to do. Whether it was the AC guy or them losing the bags or their inability to actually find the bag. This, by the way, I wish I could show you it on my phone because I use my phone as a camera here. But they send me text updates on the bag situation. I am still getting updates to this day, a week later after I picked the bag up, that they're still on the case to find my bag. That's how discombobulated this whole thing is. Luckily, I had one lady who actually tried to provide the customer service she was getting paid to provide, and she was able to do just that. She found my bag. She got it scheduled to a flight. She made sure I got on the flight and back to Newark for me to pick it up. So that's one of the lessons here. Look at what happens when you actually do your job. You get success. When you don't do your job, people get angry. Now, the overarching lesson, again, this is not just me bitching. We're trying to learn shit here. Is that the only way for this to get better is to hold people accountable. Now, I know I'm going to get shit from everybody. Stop complaining, you whiny beta bitch boy piece of garbage. You got your bag. You got there on time. You got a lot of good things in your life. There's nothing to bitch about with this. So you're slightly inconvenienced by warm air in your house and a delayed flight and no bag. Got it. There's no reason to complain about this or push back to the companies to get this remedied. Just let it go and move on. Also, I understand that mindset also. My pushback to that is that very mindset is the reason why customer service is such dog shit these days. And I talked about it when I bitched about the Lowe's situation. If our mindset is to constantly just sit there and take it in the ass for every little thing, instead of at least asking follow-up questions, you don't have to be a Karen about it. You don't have to call the cops because the cashier at ShopRite didn't bag your groceries appropriately like they're supposed to. I'm not saying that. We're not going to war here over a luggage bag. What I am saying, though, is that if you just constantly blindly accept garbage in your lives, that's what you're going to get. And it's our responsibility to at least push back a little bit and ask the question. You can do it appropriately. You can do it maturely, nicely, politely, and effectively to at least get people to realize, oh, yeah, maybe you're right. We should do better. There are ways to do that. You can make that happen. You don't have to yell and be a Karen and be an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. That's not what we do here. But another thing we don't do here is we don't sit back and constantly take it in the ass just because we don't want to have a confrontation or we don't want to get anybody uncomfortable in a situation and we don't want to make waves. We make waves here. And I know this sounds like a simple, little, tiny, unimportant, smallest violin kind of shit. But it goes to the point we're trying to make here. Don't settle for garbage in your lives. You don't have to settle for dog shit and garbage and mediocre and subpar for anything in your lives. We have the ability to push back on that. Hold people accountable when they don't do what they say and what they're getting paid to do. Because if we sit back and take it, it's never going to end. It's never going to get better. There's a reason why the customer service industry is still dog shit a year after I went on my bitch fit about Lowe's. Because only us, only the Junction and the LPDS universe are the ones doing anything about garbage customer service. There's another guy. There's a guy I work with. I don't think he listens to this show. He's a good guy though, so I'll give him a pass. He's dealt with a situation with his fridge. He's getting screwed over. He was getting screwed over on the warranty on a fridge that he purchased that didn't work. And we're talking 8 months later, he's finally getting his fridge fixed or replaced or whatever so that he has a working fridge in his house. Because he took the steps necessary so he didn't lose $3,000 that he just paid for a fridge that didn't work. And he didn't make enemies. People don't hate him for it. He's not on any Karen videos of being unreasonable. What is unreasonable? You idiot. See, look, I get it. I'm an idiot. But what I'm not is a pushover sucker beta bitch boy. And my friend is another example of a non-beta bitch boy as well, because he pushed back appropriately. He got what he needed, what he paid for originally. He didn't burn any bridges. He got it done and didn't take it in the ass like so many people have been doing throughout recent history. And we can argue back and forth all day long on whether you think, like, what's worth the fight? What's worth falling on your sword for? We could talk about that. But I say anytime you pay for a service of any kind and you don't get that service, you are well within your right, and I believe have an obligation to at least push back and ask the question one time. Hey, I paid for this, but I got that. Do you have an explanation for it? And dig a little bit. Find out why. The people you're paying in that industry, whatever it is, owe you that. At the very least, they owe you that answer why they did not provide what they say they would and what they were paid to provide. We're allowed to do that. You don't have to fall on your sword for everything, but you can at least ask the question. And that is the lesson here. Don't settle for garbage. I'm going to repeat the lesson 1 billion times over. Don't settle for garbage in your lives, whether it's customer service, relationships, shitty supervisors, shitty jobs, whatever it is. Don't settle for shit in your lives just because you don't want to deal with the effort that it goes into fixing it or getting better or holding people accountable. And that's all I got today. That's it. Stay tuned. We might have a situation on our hands with the AC stuff. United Airlines, they're done. Like, that's done. I got my bag. No real controversy there. The only reason why I use it, United, is because they have a hub in Houston. They have a hub in New Jersey, so the flights are usually a little cheaper. Otherwise, they're pretty garbage, to say the least. So I probably won't use them too much more. But they're not quite on the blacklist just yet. But, yep, that's it. Stay tuned for more, if there is more. Hopefully there's not. Hopefully I get my AC fixed and the problem resolves itself. Otherwise, you're going to hear about it, okay? Before we go, though, Big 3. Oh, real quick, before the Big 3, I think most of you listened to the episode with the creature. We talked about the New Orleans girl that I blew it with. There was a potential update that turned out to be a dud. Well, I think it turned out to be a dud. So I'm doing swiping while I'm in Nashville. And I see this gal on the Bumble that looks strikingly like New Orleans girl. This is in the airport, so it made some sort of logistical sense in my stupid brain of like, there is technically the possibility that New Orleans girl is now in a layover in Nashville to go back to her hometown, her home location. So obviously I swiped right. I did some investigating on her Bumble to see what information she put in there, where she might be from, her job, any information whatsoever. So I took that intel. I built a plan of action for it. I did some recon based off of that intel. It turns out I don't think it's the same girl. There's still one more way that we can find out appropriately without being, a creep and a stalker. So I might explore that, and I'll let you know. But I did want to let you know that we're still trying, and that's sort of the name of the game is never give up, and that's what we do here at the LPDS. We never give up, right, Randy? All right, big three. Real quick, the 3 pillars at the LPDS to become a better, happier, less stressful human being in your life and to spread that goodness over to the other lives of the people you interact with in your world. Number 1, exercise every day. Easiest thing to do, go for a walk, do push-ups, do JO, do whatever you got to do to burn the calories, get the body moving, get the heart rate up, and to get the endorphins and the dopamines and the chemical how you doing's all up in your system so you can be better mentally, physically, and emotionally. Number 2, the hardest one, don't be a shitty person. I still see it. I mean, if you haven't noticed yet, by the way, it's an election year. If I haven't said it enough times, it's an election year. So if you think it's a coincidence that we're getting bombarded with all these hot topics, politically speaking, that are coming from the news right now, the quote-unquote news, if you think that's a coincidence, think again, okay? Any actual situation that arises that the politicians and the media can use as fuel to spark debate and chaos and emotional upheaval, they're going to do that. So I'm not saying the situations in the world are staged or conspiracies or anything. Absolutely not. But I'm saying they're going to use that against us to create division and chaos and arguments about the thing that the story isn't even about. And it's real easy to take those topics and to be shitty to other people who might disagree with your opinion on that or whatever opinion that the media told you to think. So the point of that is to step back and realize that they're creating purposeful emotional turmoil so that you react emotionally. And when you react emotionally, most of the time it's negatively and you become that shitty person when you really didn't want to. So the number 2 on the big 3 is to take that step back, separate the emotion from the rationale, and make the rational, logical decision to not be a shitty human being. And don't be mean. Don't just lob internet shit talks or real life shit talks or anything like that in a mean, malicious way. Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. I do a lot of bitching on this show about people who don't do their job, customer service that sucks. I sound like a Larry David. There's no reason for Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm to be such a whiny bitch. He's a billionaire who's bitching about everything. That's the joke behind it all. In case you guys didn't know how to understand jokes. But in reality, it doesn't really bother me that much. I find a way to try to hold people accountable without it affecting me to the point where I'm debilitated and crippled by anger and emotional fear, turmoil, what have you. Because I try to. It's difficult to do. All these stuff is difficult to actually make happen every day, but I try to be grateful and focus on the good things I have in my life and be thankful for those as opposed to focusing only on the negative thing that happened that day or whatever it might be going on in my life. And if you make that conscious effort to do that in each moment and then each day and then each week and each month, eventually your muscle memory is going to catch on, and that's going to be your thought process the majority of the time. It's going to become a lifestyle for you. And that's the same with the other 2 pillars too. The other 2 are the big 3. So that's that. That's all I got for now. Thank you guys again for listening. Don't forget to hit the hotline, 202-670-1114. Hit the Instagram and the Facebook. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notifications on there so you know when I post new things, new treasure hunts, new questions, new poll questions, new debate questions, what have yous, so that you can provide your feedback and input. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTubes, all that good shit. Tell your friends and enemies, spread the good word. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.